Welcome to What's Up Washington. My name is Julian, and today I'm going to give you the top 5 keys to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Stay tuned. All right. Welcome. This is going to be my first episode. First time I'm doing this, so forgive any mistakes. There's going to be some bumps along the road. I'm going to do this a little bit organically. I want it to be a little more podcast style. I don't want it super stylized, super edited, but I want to give you some good content. I mean, you're here not to see this beautiful mug, but you're here for the content that I'm going to be giving you. And if you do appreciate that or get any kind of enjoyment, I would appreciate if you drop a like and a subscribe down below. Hopefully, I can pique your interest just for a few minutes. I'm going to try and keep everything very calm and give you everything here within 10 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we have a big game coming up against Seattle, one that has played out incredibly nicely with Dallas losing, New York beating the Eagles. So the Eagles have lost. The Panthers have lost in a super exciting fashion, for us fans anyway. And Seattle is not playing very well. And on the flip side, we're also playing very, very well. So this puts us in a situation where we control the narrative. We don't control our destiny yet at this point. This could come later on down the road. But at least what's in front of us, it's our turn to take the wheel and drive and point the season in whichever direction that we actually want to go. That being said, where can we take this thing? I see this playing out two different ways. One, you could say, is do theory. Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He's been in a slump for the past two games. He's coming off that injury to his finger with his tendon, and this could be his get right game. After all, I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's a undisputed top 5 quarterback, or has been an undisputed top 5 quarterback. Maybe not this year, but he has a pedigree. Everyone knows what he is capable of when he's playing at the level that he is possible of reaching. You could say it's do theory, and this is the time where he gets right, he gets back on track, and we're going to see the Russell Wilson, we're going to see the DK Metcalf show. And this could be the game where he makes a statement and says, look, I'm still here to compete, and I'm here to play. Or it could go another way, where you could say they're in a slump. We are actually playing them at the perfect time, where our offense is clicking. Our defense seems to be playing up to at least a passable level, borderline very good the past couple games. But I mean, when you look at the entire body of work throughout the year, it's not where we expected it. And I'm actually going to get into that when we jump into the top 5. So actually, why don't we go ahead and do that? I'm going to give you the top 5 keys that I believe are going to be necessary to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get into that. Number 1, we'll pick up right where I was just talking. I believe is going to be the defensive line. Now, they have shown over the past couple games that with the absence of Chase Young, Montez Sweat, they've actually have been playing fairly well. I'm not gonna be here to give you a lot of stats. The stats, they don't just stick into my head. I wanna discuss in kind of a general, opinionated format. But in general, the run stopping, I believe the run stopping has been very, very good. Jonathan Allen has been playing fantastic. He has 4 sacks, 5 sacks. I don't know. I'd have to look. But the question is going to be, is the absence of Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Is it going to be a major impact against a team like Seattle? So far, Chase Young has not been playing up to the standards that we wanted. He had 1.5 sacks before he was injured. Montez Sweat was playing very well, but with his broken jaw, are guys like Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams, are they going to be able to step up and play in a good enough role that is going to protect the front line? But that's going to protect the secondary with the line in front of them. So that's going to be what I believe is number one. Number two, obviously the running game. We had a massive running game last week, and I think that the strength and the willingness to stick to the run, commit to the run, and when we get production like our offensive line is getting, it shows that with what seems to be a pretty solid 1-2 punch with Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, that it gives a very nice balance to our passing game. And when you have a nice balance, you can have a little bit more control. It lets Taylor Heinicke relax a little bit, take his foot off the brakes, and not have to play from behind. When we can control the ball, we can control a little bit more of the clock. So that's going to be a very, very big focus, I think, in the offense. Antonio Gibson, you got to stop fumbling. You got to stop fumbling. It didn't seem like it was much of an issue last year, but for whatever reason, he's having a lot of problems. He's having a lot of problems holding on to the ball. So if they can stick to it, they can get good production. I think if they can do 50-50 run pass throughout the game, maybe even 60-40 run pass throughout the game, it's going to be extremely beneficial in leading to a W against the Seahawks. That being said, that takes me to my third point. Scott Turner. Scott Turner has stepped into a role where he's kind of learning on the go, right? And I think over the past couple weeks, you're seeing a lot more creativity in his play calling. He's been very steadfast that he has the guys that he needs. He has people in place, and he's going to let them play to their abilities. And I think he's finally doing that. What we are seeing is, like I said, the creativity. We're seeing a lot more RPO. We're letting Taylor run, which is something I think they were extremely hesitant to do in the beginning. But they're also learning they're not going to win games unless they let Taylor play the way that he knows how to play, right? So they're giving him more opportunities to make reads, to take off with the ball if he needs to. They're doing a lot more motion on the line. We've even seen a few trick plays in there. But I think over the past couple weeks, with his play calling, with the run game, and with Taylor controlling the ball, you're seeing a very efficient offense and machine that Scott Turner is putting out. And as long as he stays on this track, then it gives Washington a very, very good opportunity to control the game. And that's what it's going to be about. We either control the game or we have to come out hot like we did against Tampa. We got to punch him in the mouth. We got to score and make a statement very, very, very early, which I think they've been very willing to do because we don't have much that we're really playing for at this point. But if Scott can go out there and call a good game, which we've seen the very beginning of the season he was having issues with, then they have a very good chance to control the game and play how they want to play. Number 4, we are getting, well, for sure getting Logan back, and it looks like we're also going to get Curtis Samuel back. Curtis, we don't have a lot of game footage on. He played the most in the Atlanta game. Only 4 catches for 19 yards. That's one of the stats I actually do have up here. But by watching him from an eye test, an eye perspective, what he knows how to do is he knows how to read the field. He knows situational football, right? Three of those four catches were for first downs. And that is an area where we were struggling very, very mightily in the beginning of the year, was third down conversions. I think right now the leader in the NFL is Seattle. Seattle's defense is leading the NFL in most third down conversions against. So with the addition of Logan Thomas, with the addition of Curtis Samuel, it also takes pressure off Antonio Gibson, McLaurin, and it gives Heinicke weapons to be able to move the football, to convert those third downs. A lot more of a safety blanket when his first read, sometimes, reasonably so, McLaurin, when his read may not be open, he has a lot more confidence that he can go to a second or a third, or sometimes maybe even the fourth read in the play, and have some confidence behind it that they're going to be able to do what they're supposed to do. And that's what Ron Rivera has been preaching. The guys need to do what they're supposed to do. Stick to your assignment. And Curtis Samuel is the epitome of someone that does that. He plays football the way he knows how. He's going to be where you need him to. And he also has that ability to break one. If he's healthy. We'll see what happens. And of course, Logan, hands of stone, will catch pretty much anything you throw to him. So the return of them is going to be the make or break of Taylor Heinicke. Of course, we all know this. It's not a secret at this point. This team's only going to go as far as Taylor goes. What I want to know, and I have a question for you guys, is do you think Taylor has done enough to solidify himself as the starter going forward next year? Or do you think he still has more to show to keep him, more to show in order for him to convince you that he is the right guy for the job? It's no secret. The past two games, no turnovers. He's played some of the best football he's played all year. In his whole life. His last game was phenomenal. I think it was his best game that he's played. So his past two games, 0 turnovers, 4 touchdowns, with 2 W's. Last time he didn't throw for any interceptions was against Atlanta, where you could argue also was one of his best games, and they won. So against this has to work as a well-oiled machine. Taylor has to play the way he's supposed to, but they also need to rely on the running game. If the running game is working the way it's supposed to, and the offensive line is playing the way they have been, then Taylor can play the game that he needs to play. He cannot play from behind. He doesn't have the arm strength. He does have the guts. You hear moxie, right? He has the decision making. He has the ability to scan the field better than a lot of people I've seen. He can run. He does need to get out of the pocket to move around due to some of his height limitations. But I think he does have the ability to show us he can play as the starter for us moving forward. I don't think he 1000% has done enough to play for the next 10 years in the league. He can play as a backup. He can play as a spot starter. It's up to him to, take the next level and show us that he can be a starter for a long period going forward. I would love it. I think it would be one of the greatest stories. I think it would be fantastic for the DC area. I would love for him to be the QBX, as JP Finley and those guys like to say. But I would like to see a little bit more consistency, actually. If he can play the way he's played week in and week out, obviously it's not going to be every single game. Look at Russell Wilson. You don't get an MVP Russ game in, game out, but he needs to show that he has the ability to do that. So I think this team is only going to go as far as Taylor can take us, given the circumstances and the team that Ron has put around him. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. That has been my top 5 keys to winning the game today against Seattle. If you have enjoyed any of this content, I would appreciate you leaving a like, comment, subscribe, you know, same thing everyone says. I appreciate you appreciating me. And if you did enjoy, I hope to see you on the next video. And with that being said, I'll see you there, or I will see you on another time. If you know where that's from, comment down below too.